Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, good afternoon and good evening everyone. This is Khushbu from TestingWhiz. I welcome you all to our webinar Experiencing Robust Test Automation with TestingWhiz 5.3. With me we have Balbod Jha, who is a test automation expert at TestingWhiz. In this webinar, he'll be guiding us through the features of TestingWhiz and demonstrating the technical stuff. So, as you know, this webinar is about TestingWhiz 5.3. We'll be talking about the latest versions which was launched in the month of May 2017. Apart from that, we'll be talking about the features and explain how TestingWhiz can help with robust test automation. Before we move ahead with the webinar, I would like to give a brief introduction about TestingWhiz. TestingWhiz is a codeless test automation solution for automating testing of web, mobile databases, API, cloud, and desktop apps. It is built on a unique codeless capability and fast automation engine that helps global enterprises meet quality objectives such as improving quality and reliability of solutions, delivering applications to market faster, getting started with automation quickly, saving time and cost, as well as pursuing innovations. TestingWhiz is currently used by VMware, Choice Hotels, Intel, Xerox, Autodesk, Symantec, Infosys, Verizon, and many other companies. On the architecture front, TestingWhiz works on UI testing, backend testing, as well as web services testing. TestingWhiz also supports testing of mobile applications. On the left side, you can see how TestingWhiz is integrated with continuous servers like Jenkins and Bamboo. And it also extends remote execution via integration with Source Labs and Browser Stack. Moving on, I would like to talk about TestingWhiz 5.3. TestingWhiz version 5.3 comes with the features and enhancements that provide effective and logical ways to carry out testing of applications, while it also resolves some common challenges which ultimately help enterprises experience robust test automation. So let us see how TestingWhiz 5.3 and its features can help enterprises. So these are the features that have been the part of the recent version and which is the part of our agenda tonight. So first is automating testing of Google Chrome extensions. Second is testing web and mobile apps via coordinates. Validating front-end elements using CSS checkpoints. Fourth is verifying file existence and differences. Fifth is testing website dropdowns for running accurate validations. Sixth is validating XML files queries at different data sources. Lastly, we have applying call methods across different test projects. So we have Balbod who will be explaining each of these features in details and give you technical understanding of these features. Over to you, Balbod.
Hello guys, this is Balbod here. I'll take you through the couple of slides which demonstrates, which explains you how the new features would come into picture about how it is implemented in TestingWhiz and how it can help you to perform effective testing across the different modules of your applications. So moving ahead, first giving a soft insight of how you can automate some of your Chrome extensions. So let's say if you have a Chrome extension developed for your web application or a mobile application. So if a Chrome extension is provided for your application, then it becomes more easier to for the users to install the Chrome CRX file in their Chrome browsers, and then instead of navigating to the websites, they directly open up they can directly open up their Chrome extension and perform some of the functions which cannot be accessed directly. So that can help if you have Chrome extensions which is developed by your application, which is developed by your company and provides an extension support for your web application, then yes, TestingWhiz 5.3 offers you uh, a, a functionality. It extends the automation capabilities of TestingWhiz by offering you the automation of Chrome extensions. So that is the first point which we are going to see in the demo part today. Second is implementation of activities by coordinates. So let's say, for example, something is on your website is not automated with the help of normal click or normal click by wait, which we have test commands available in our TestingWhiz. So with the help of a new addition of click command, what we are doing over here is we can click on any of the any part of our screens with the help of coordinates. So it takes normal click functionality to a whole different level by activating on the screen, not just on the back end of the HTML codes. So over here, what we have done is we have introduced a new test command known as click by coordinates, which would accept X and Y coordinates of your screen, and it will click on that particular coordinate whatever you specify. So it can extend your click commands very useful. It takes to a whole another level. In addition to it, what we have introduced is we have also introduced get coordinates, which can be very helpful in specifying the X and Y coordinates for your particular click command. So if you are getting the coordinates with the get command, then the output of that particular command would be X and Y coordinates from the browser, and then the output from that command can be utilized inside this test command. So those are two things which you can automate extensively. It helps you by where in the unreachable areas of the browser. Third is a test command. The test action which is added over here, which is like if you want to perform UI check, like if you want to check any color attribute or any font family check, what kind of font is used on that particular web page or on that particular button, then you can fetch that value from the website and validate across the test cases you might be having. So with the help of this command, you can grab any CSS property of that particular web page and validate across your expected CSS property. So UI can be checked very well with the help of this command, that is get CSS values. Moving on, the fourth point which we have added in 5.3, which is more useful in validating data of your CSV files or validating the download, validating the file which you have downloaded from the website. So these two commands we have introduced to validate that if any difference is between your text file or CSV file, then that can be validated with the help of file diff command, and whatever the difference would be, it would be stored in another CSV file. So it is implemented in that way, and whatever the differences would be, it would be highlighted it would be separated in that result CSV file. The second test command which we have added is file exist. So file exist is something which we, let's say for example, you have downloaded something from the website or from any other of the web pages, and you need to validate your downloaded file. So with the help of file exist command, you can validate any of the file which is available in your physical computer. So that's the another dimension what we have added in TestingWhiz. Fifth part, what we have done over here is we have implemented dynamic get values from the drop-down, and what we can do over here is we can fetch all the drop-down values which are dynamically populated once we select any of the drop down. So let's say for example there can be dependent drop downs. So for example there can be country, state and city selection drop downs. Now country, whatever country you select, it would determine the drop down values of the state drop down. So it will help you to understand what all drop down values are present inside that particular the next drop down, and then you can choose to separate or select any of the values from that drop down. So that helps there in dynamic handling of such scenarios. Sixth feature what we are going to discover over in this 5.3 is we have added, we have extended parse XML feature to file as well. So if you have an XML file which you want to validate across for the any kind of result which you want to validate, then you can upload that file, give that file path, and you can validate that XML file with whatever expressions you want to validate, and you can store them into a variable, and then you can move on with the test case. So there's XML file validation is also extended with the help of parse XML command. And last but not the least, the main feature, these are the 7 main features what we have included is the 7th feature is call method across multiple test projects. So let's say if you have a common repository, let's say for example you have a big project which you want to, your testing team wants to create automation using TestingWhiz. So what we can do is in that scenario would be a test lead or particular project lead would create common test methods which would be used across multiple testers. So in that scenario, the test lead would define their common methods which needs to be implemented across the test cases. So all those methods would be saved in a single file, and the testers, the fellow testers would be referencing those methods which are available in different projects. So an extensive feature allows you to collaborate with all of your testers, and that can be very helpful in reducing your code, the testing code, the test case code, and it will be a very enterprise level thing. So that helps very much when you are working on a large scale project. Alright, so moving on, I'll be showcasing you how you can automate automation, how we can automate Google, the Google extension. So there can be an extension file which you need to upload into TestingWhiz, and then perform the automation on based on what kind of scenarios you can create on extension. So over here what we have done is we have created a use case with the Google Translate application, that is Google Translate extension, which is widely available on the Google. The second use case is we are capturing the X and Y coordinates of a particular element, and then we are clicking on that particular element with the X and Y coordinates, which is captured by the previous test command. Third use case can be we are validating font and color of a particular website using, by capturing the CSS values of that particular website. Use case 4 is about finding differences between two CSV files. So I have two CSV files fetched from a database, and what I'm doing is I'm validating both of those files for their comparison. So whatever the difference would be, it would be saved in a different result CSV file, and then we can see what were the differences. The use case 5 is we are validating an XML file for different values inside them. So over here in the demo which I am going to showcase it to you, we are validating an XML file which contains book information. So we are extracting author, we are extracting the genre of that particular book and validating across our expected values. Then moving on, this last use case would be how you can implement, how you can call different methods from different test projects. So this is something which is new to, which is extended as a part of call method, and this can be utilized on a large base project, and that should work fine for each and every one of you. So let me just grab my system and we can move ahead with the automation. So yes, we are ready with the demo part. What we have done over here is we have created one suite which will showcase you all of those use case scenarios which we have discussed just now. So over here in my first use case, what I am doing is I am calling an extension URL, and then I am converting my preferred language to Spanish, and then I am validating, I am converting some of the words in as my expected part, and then I will be using it to convert this part into Spanish language. So I'll be fetching these values one by one, and whatever the converted language would be, it would be fetched and stored in this column, the Spanish column. So let's say I'll execute this test case and we can validate those things. So in order to work for this test case, you have to upload your CRX file like over here in add-ons in Chrome extension. You have to create a profile for Chrome extension, like you have to specify the CRX file which is downloaded, that is a file for Google Chrome extension, and once you provide that, you can determine the execution browser on to the CRX file to load when you execute the when you execute the test case. So that's how it can be achieved. And once that is done, I can select and say execute. So Chrome browser would be opened with the translate Chrome extension loaded into that browser, and that should work fine. So over here it is translating one by one. Each and every word would be translated and fetched and stored into our data table. And once that is done, we can see the report that it is inputting some values to translate, and then it is fetching the values from the website, that is the converted values of that particular word, and then it will be storing it into our data table. So over here, right now it's not populated just because it is not refreshed yet. So once we refresh it, it will populate all the values which is fetched from the website. So all of those things can be utilized across our CRX file, that is the Chrome extension file, and we can automate a Chrome extension application with the help of TestingWhiz. Moving on to the second test case, that is click by coordinate use case. What we are doing over here is we are opening up google.com and we are fetching the coordinates of a button, and whatever the coordinates would be, it would be utilized in click by coordinates test command. So over here what we are doing is we are specifying the variable values which are the X and Y coordinates, and then we'll be clicking on that particular button with the help of coordinates, not by XPath or any other means. So let's execute this. So if you see, it will click on the I am feeling lucky button with the help of coordinates. The third use case what we have for you is we are opening up a website that is very much colorful, and we are moving on to capture the CSS value with get CSS value test commands, and we are fetching the background color of that particular object, we are fetching the height value, and we are fetching the font value for that particular object. And then what we are doing is we are validating that it is matching our expected value. So I am expecting that RGB values should be 0, 168 and 150. So if my actual values are matching, sorry, if my actual values are matching with the expected values, then the test case would pass. Otherwise it would fail the test case with the appropriate failure message over here. Similarly, for each and every CSS value, we are doing the validation part. So let's just execute this. So the test case failed. One of the iteration got failed just because the comparison didn't pass because the height was different. So we were expecting the actual value was 945 pixels and my expected value was 633 pixels. So that's why the test case has failed and it has given us the result. Moving on, the fourth use case is about validation of files. So over here what I'm doing is I'm downloading a certain file, that is a PDF file from a website, and then I'm validating that the file has been downloaded successfully. And in the end what I'm doing is I'm connecting to a Linux server and then I am validating the difference between the two files. So whatever the difference would be, it would be saved in a different CSV file over here like this. So once that is done, it would be giving us the differences found between those two CSV files. So let's execute this. So as this is a backend operation, it would not open up any browser, and this will just run in background. It will download the file and it will validate the differences between two CSV files. So over here I'm downloading a PDF file which is it takes around 20 to 25 seconds, and that should work fine for the validation as well. So the test case has been completed, and once you see the results, it would say that the specified file was found. I mean that the validation was successful. In the previous step we downloaded the file, and in the second step we validated that it has downloaded successfully. And in the third step we have difference. We found out the differences between the CSV files, and those are stored in a result CSV file that we can access it from here. So this is the file which is different. I mean this is the result file which is produced using as a result of file diff test command. So whatever the differences would be, that would be specified with the help of these locators. So moving on, we have XML file validation. So for example, what we have done over here is we are validating an XML file which is available with my in my computer, and then what we are doing is we are fetching the count value, and after, I mean whatever the count would be, I mean the node count, I mean the number of books which are present inside that XML file, it would be fetching the count, and then it will compare that count is less than or equal to 12. So if that is correct, then it will pass the test case, otherwise it will fail the test case. And if our test case passes, then it goes to parsing the number of books and their authors, their genre, which I mean the respective books and their genres. Those would be fetched, and then it would be stored in our data table over here. So right now the data table is blank, and we are fetching those values from an XML file, and then it will populate all the information inside our data table. So let's just execute. As this is also an backend operation, it doesn't require any browser coordination, so that's why it has not opened up browser. It is running in the background, and it is validating those things in the background and storing all the information in our data table. So once our execution is done, you can see that it has populated all this information fetched from the XML file, and then we can utilize our comparison operations. We can utilize our number comparison operations to validate this across as well, like we did in font and color validation. So that can be used, and we can utilize all of those comparison operation to move on with the validation. Now the last and foremost, the last feature which I want to showcase it to you guys is the extensive call method, which we can call different methods from the different project files. So let me just create one test case over here. So I'll give it some name, that is call method, and once I specify this, I can select a call method test command from here, and I need to specify the file from which I need to fetch in my desired method. I need to specify, let's say for example, I select this file, and I need to select any of the method which is defined inside that particular file. So that particular method requires these two parameters. So let's say I'll provide these two parameters so that it can be utilized inside those method steps. So I'll type in the information which is required by that particular method, and we are good to go with the call method command. So let's say I'll execute this, and it will fetch the test cases which are defined inside that particular method. I beg your pardon, that is, it would fetch all the steps which are available inside that particular test case, the test method, and it will perform all those things over here in this test case. So this is very much useful when you are working on a large scale project, and it is very much helpful in automation of across your different projects and across your different modules on which the fellow testers would work on. So that's it from my end. These are all features what we have come up with in the 5.3, and that should pretty much accommodate all of your testing scenarios. And if something is missing, or if something which you feel that should be we would incorporate in TestingWhiz, then probably you can send us an email, then we can go ahead and check our feasibility doing that. Thank you all. Over to you, Khushbu.
Thank you, Balbodh, for demonstrating all the features. So let us look at how these features can help enterprises bridge the gaps between their existing test automation efforts and the goals that they have from their test automation projects. So with these features, as you know, it helps all the enterprises in delivering consistent and quality softwares and ensure that all the steps, all the efforts that they are making into their test automation program is logical. With this, there are certain features that help you accelerate time to market and integrate functionalities of your applications and websites. Apart from that, with features like drop-down values and CSS elements, you can also validate hidden elements and vital mechanisms on your websites, and this will definitely help you follow logical testing practices. So I hope if you found this webinar useful and enjoyable. If you have any questions, you can please type your questions onto the dialog box and we'll be happy to answer you. We have some time, so we can definitely discuss your questions and answers.
You all can raise your hand, and if you have any questions, you can pull up that question and we'll try to answer that.
So we have a question from Purnima regarding the training.
Yes, we provide training for this tool that are included in our QA automation services. You can leverage that QA automation services, as well as once you purchase this tool, you are eligible for four hours of free training that you provide, and that should help you get started with TestingWhiz.
And Purnima is also asking about the cost of the tool.
Right. So for costing part and purchasing part, you can contact our salesperson. So we have you can drop us email at info@testingwiz.com, testing-wiz.com, or sales@testing-wiz.com. So that should a salesperson should get back to you as soon as possible and help you with your query. You're welcome. Hi Rajshekhar, I see that you have made your hands, and you can type your question in the questions box, and then we should be able to answer them.
Alright, we don't have any questions coming in. So we'll conclude the webinar. Thank you all for joining us in the webinar. If you have any queries or concerns, or if you want some more information about TestingWhiz, feel free to contact us on the information mentioned on the screen. We wish you a very good day. Goodbye.